Dromineer, and then they dropped me off in Williamstown Harbor, like a couple kilometers across, or in that case, yeah, like a couple kilometers across the lake. It would have been something like that. It might not have been that lake, could have been this one. A lake in Ireland is the only like personal boat I've hitchhiked on. Talbot Ferry, West Limerick. This is a personal boat. This is the people that picked me up. So it wasn't a ferry. You know, where I'm at in my story. We're kind of going through the pictures because it's kind of like a visual recollection of these trips. I didn't take very many pictures, that's why there's not much here. Um, I thought these were cool. These like standing stones in Orkney. This was in Orkney before I took the ferry to Shetland. I went dumpster diving, and this is my first Hull dumpster diving. Uh, just again, baked goods. Have you ever heard me talk about dumpster diving? I always say I'm just going for the baked goods. That's pretty much what. Well, or any like kind of non-perishable stuff. Like if they threw out a box of candy bars because they expired, I'd go for that as well. Stuff that's individually wrapped. You can find some off-grid land to set up off-grid homestead cell phone reception stream it. Uh, there's a guy doing that on Twitch. What's his name? Out in the US somewhere. So some of you guys will know this. This is in Norway now. Thought the architecture was cool. 30? No, it's not 30. Egypt, that's the one. He lives in a bus on a bunch of property out in the middle of nowhere. Are we up in Trondheim now? I think it's Trondheim. So on this trip, I'm just gonna take you through the rough route here. So around Ireland, Wales, and then north through England, through like the Lake District and stuff, straight north. Yeah, I went through Edinburgh and then straight north through Inverness to Thurso, Orkney Islands, ferry to Shetland Islands, to Lerwick. Then I hitchhiked up to the North Island of these islands, and then I stayed at a. Oh, I'm pretty sure I took pictures of that place, but I didn't see any of them. Where are they? No, I don't think they're in my. Oh, I remember why. So I think a lot of these were with an actual camera, like a point and shoot, and then that battery died in Orkney. I didn't charge it again until Norway because you can plug it. Why can I charge it? I think it needed its own like charger thing and I didn't have it or something. Anyway, so those are probably somewhere. I just don't remember where they are. But I slept in a Viking longhouse somewhere up here. It was under construction, but it wasn't like blocked off. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sleep in this thing. I want to find it. Ah, haha. Wait, is it not this? Photos. Ha! I slept in there. It was under construction. It was like the stones were up, but the roof was not like looking like this at this point. Um, so yeah, I just slept in the Viking longhouse there. Like the door, there was no door on it or anything. I just walked in there. It was under construction. Um, and then in the morning, I think there's some kind of festival going on, and like there's a week festival in was it all of Shetland or was it just the North Island? Was it Unst? Wait, how do I? No, my no. How do, there we go. There must be an easier way, but I don't know which way to do that. It's some kind of, I think it was just for this island, Unst, like a week-long festival. Um, and they're setting up there, and they were starting to charge people for entry to like check out what was going on there. And they talked to me, and they're just like, "Oh, you have to pay to go in there." I'm like, "Man, I'm leaving. I'm not going there. I got here before you did." Uh, so I didn't pay because I got there before they did. I don't know. That's really cheap. Um, I didn't have income, so the less money I spent, the more I could travel. But one interesting anecdote, I think yeah, I remember from, I think it was here. So how did it go? Well, I definitely got invited to a few people's houses around here. Like someone, I think on this island, they were gonna take me to the ferry, but they asked if I want to come over for tea first, so I went over for tea. I went to this island, and people were nice there. I think it was around here. Like it was one of the someone picked me up, and we had a nice conversation. Then someone else picked me up later, and they're like, "Oh, how did you get here?" And I'm like, "Oh, I got picked up by like a person here." And they're like, "Oh, describe the person to me." I'm like, da 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 da. Oh, they're like, "Oh, that's this person." Oh, they're like everyone kind of knows everyone up here. Um, you're kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's a satellite. Interesting geography up here. There's not much for trees. It's kind of just fields. There's lots of peat around here. When you drive down the roads, you'll see people will cut out blocks of peat, which is I don't know how to describe it, but they burn it instead of coal in their furnaces, and they'll just have it like laid out in kind of little stacks on fields to dry, and then they'll collect it and burn it for heat. But it's a cool place. People are really nice out there. It's always windy, and the weather changed in like 3 seconds. What's this island? This is Shetland. Shetland Island. Shetland Islands? Call it Shetland Islands? I think just for going over it, I think I prefer just this map view. It's easier to spot things really well. I'd like to go to the Faroe Islands at some point as well. So yeah. Yeah, so on this trip, yeah, I was giving the rough route, and it was like Ireland, Wales, England, Scotland, Orkney Islands, Shetland Islands, and then I flew from Inverness. Was it Inverness? No, Lerwick, sorry. Inverness is in Scotland. Lerwick to Bergen, Norway. And on that flight, a very nice, kind lady, I was talking to the person sitting next to me, just because I think a lot of that flight was like some Norwegian travel group or something like that, and they were on their way back. And I looked outside of that, so we were just talking about travel and stuff like that. And the people sitting behind me overheard our conversation and how I was like hitchhiking and sleeping in a tent and stuff like that. And they're like, "Oh, we have a place in Bergen if you want to stay there." And we were talking there, super nice. It was wonderful. They showed me this Norwegian for breakfast, or was it like dinner? At some point, we had like open faced sandwich, it's just like a piece of bread with cheese on it, and it's a cheese thing, but it's like brown cheese, and it tasted kind of funny, very Norwegian. You hitch that flight? No. So that's why I was saying, like I hitchhiked. The goal on the trip was to hitchhike around the world, eastbound, except for the oceans, because it's technically possible, but logistically very difficult. Um, so I paid for my flight uh, to Dublin. I paid for a ferry to Wales. I paid for a ferry to Orkney Island. I paid for a ferry to Shetland Island. I paid for a flight to Bergen. Um, and I didn't pay for any transportation. Maybe the occasional like city bus around town. Uh, it's for all of Europe, and so I didn't pay for any major transportation all the way through Europe across Russia until I got to Vladivostok. Then I flew. I paid for a flight from Vladivostok to Fukuoka, and then hitchhiked to Tokyo, and then paid for. Well, I used points for a flight home, but I still paid. Mr. Ologist, thank you very much for the raid. Everyone got the hitch. I'm telling old hitchhiking stories because I can't hitchhike right now due to the coronavirus stuff. Uh, about trips before I stream because I hitchhiked for 4 years before I started streaming hitchhiking, and I've been streaming hitchhiking for 2 years, so we're talking 6 years in total of hitchhiking, but only the last 2 years is actually documented. Um, so I figured I'd kind of retell some of the little stories. I have some pictures up from pre-streaming hitchhiking trips. Do you know Bald and Bankrupt? I think I've seen one or two of his videos. Yeah. You back in Canada? Yeah, this is Western Canada, British Columbia, Vancouver Island. He's telling stories about hitchhiking because gaming bores him. Well, like, not like I'm looking for stuff to stream. 'Cause, like people still want me to stream, and I do want to stream, and I don't know when I'll be able to travel again, so I'm trying to keep this channel kind of going. Um, like I'm enjoying Animal Crossing. It's chill, but it's probably not the most interesting thing to watch. I haven't actually talked through my history in a very long time. Like this stuff, like I'll tell the occasional story to you guys, but like I haven't actually talked through this in so long. It's actually interesting for me to try and recollect all these memories and stuff like that. And I hopefully it's interesting to some people, just hearing about and seeing a few things. I didn't take very many pictures back then, or videos, or document that much. Um, but hopefully it's interesting to hear and see just a little bit about pre-Twitch hitchhiking. Um, because I did a fair chunk. Some of my signs from Norway. I love it when I get that white cardboard. That's the premium stuff right there. Second playing GeoGuessr. I know a lot of people have said like it's going to happen, but I'm gonna finish the storytelling at least. And I think I do just want to check my island on Animal Crossing before I end the stream tonight. Just I have a bunch of I did a bunch of wishing upon stars. I'm gonna collect those and see what's up with that and stuff. Um, but yeah, d- yeah, so we don't have any signs from this trip here. Almost all of these have been used on stream. The only ones that I'm not sure if were used on stream are like the Comox sign. Um, because I've made a ton of those because I'll just like end up in Vancouver whether I flew home from a trip or yeah, even since I've been streaming, I've hitchhiked and made a Comox sign offline, but like the channel's been a thing. Like I think when I flew home from New Zealand or something, I landed in Vancouver and I just took public transit to the ferry and then made a quick Comox sign and just hitchhiked offline. Like I still hitchhike as a means of getting around, even though now I do this for my stream content and stuff. It's just something I do. Um, the hitchhiking came first before the streaming. Um, I think. But yeah, I think we could probably technically find almost all of these signs being used on VODs if I really desired to. Because like all of these have been used on stream. Emily made this sign. Uh, the girls I met in Oregon that picked me up very early on, they made that sign. I think the rest I made. Where's the old girlfriend? We know. BRB don't. Annalie. Chill. Alright. Was in New Zealand when the White Island volcano erupted. Yeah, I have a picture. And people took clips and stuff like that. People are very concerned about my well-being when that volcano was erupting. Um, we're just gonna do a quick aside for that volcano comment. Can I remember where that is? I don't remember what was around. It's on the east coast of something. I don't remember if it was North or South Island. Oh, I thought maybe it would be better for this one. North or South? uh, Just have to Google it. Oh, you say White Island? Oh, quite up north. Okay, yeah. I think we took the pictures like from here, Wakatane.